Oh gosh, my voice. Oh yes. Hello, hello. Hi, Lala. It's Star-LaLa. This imperfect star wants to share her music desires to the world. Yo! Oh goodness, my voice. My sincerest apologies for my voice. I am a teacher. My voice has not is pretty much shot. It's dead. Hello, Locked Mystery. Oh, hello, Sin Murasaki. Hello, hello. Again, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, hearing my own voice right now. I promise it was fine this morning, but I think as the school day went on, that now my voice is shot. But it's okay. The show must go on. The show must go on. I did drink tea right before stream. I have my advanced GG drink. Oh goodness. Alright, let me put back my in-ear because I was curious of how I sounded. It's like, oh boy. Oh gosh, my voice is really dead. Oh no, Liam VR and Plush. My sincerest apologies to hear that. My apologies. Thank you, Locked Mystery. Again, it's like, it's not because I'm sick. It's just because, yeah, this week was a full week of school. So all 5 days, and 2 of those days, all of my students showed up. But I will say this week was much better. Much better compared to last week. And I think this is just a thing with me, is usually the first week of school, it's pretty rough. Well, in pre-K, the intense teaching is, hey, make sure you're sharing. Hey, Billy, make sure you sit down on your pockets. Bobby, please do not throw the toy if you're upset. What can we do when we're upset? It's just a lot of the repetition just because it's, it's pre-K. Most of their first time going to a school setting. Like some come from a daycare setting. Some come just from nothing. So that's pretty much my job. And this is where I keep stating it. That classroom management is really, really important. Because without classroom management, then yeah, the rest of your school year is pretty rough. Because all of last week and this week is just teaching them routines and procedures. Do we run to get into line? No, we don't. Make sure you're not hurting each other. Like, I think it's a successful day, especially the first couple weeks of school, if the child goes to the restroom when they ask, when they eat their lunch, eat their snacks, and they're not bleeding. If they're all good to go by the end of the day, I call that a successful day at pre-K. Oh God, my uni started this week. Oh, my apologies, Sid Mirasaki. It's been a few years now since I've last went to university, but here I am, still in education because I am a teacher. But hey, it's a job. I get a decent amount of money where I am. Good voice hardening practice though, it is. I will say this, I think because of all the vocal practice that I do here at home, and because of the fact that, like, I've been recording my original songs and releasing that my voice, honestly, I'm surprised it's not like gone. Because even my team lead, her voice is like, it sounds even worse than mine. And she's been teaching for like 20 plus years. So I think it is good practice. It's just that I really wanted to sing Clarity for y'all because the VTuber Monster concert is coming up. Oh gosh, I guess my nose is a little bit stuffy, but that's just because it's cold in my apartment. I hope you don't get a problem child like me. Oh, you missed it, Sid Murasaki. You missed it. It was like last week. Oh boy. Oh boy. Last Friday, I think I cried like 5 times just because how stressful the first week of school was. It is like, and I am, it's like I do have like a few students who I guess what you would consider as problem students, but this week was much better for them, especially because I started doing my actual thing. Because last week it was just kind of make sure that they're not scared of you, make sure that you don't scare them off so they don't want to come to school. But this week I for sure turned on teacher mode, and so yeah, it definitely went much better this week. I'm new around here. May I ask who the art and rigger of your model is? Ah, yes! It is Aria. Her Twitter at... Hold on. Let me see. I can link it in the chat. I should also put the credits in the description later. But yes, her name is Aria. And then her Twitter at is Blackberry Tea. Her comms are open right now. Or their comms are open right now if you are interested. Again, sorry, I can hear my voice. I'm cringing so hard. How bad it sounds. Okay, right here. Oh, yes, thank you, Lucky. Yes, yes, we have hit 100! 100 subs! I'm honestly surprised. I thought it was gonna take, like, a few more weeks. I think right now current count is 104. Yeah! 104 subs. Thank you, thank you. And since we're talking about subs, let me say the thank you to the recent subs that I can't see the names of. So yes, thank you Bowtie. Thank you Sans. Everyone else I ain't thanked in the last stream. But yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sid Marisaki. Yay! So that means once my voice gets better, then we'll do like a celebration karaoke stream. And I think I said this in one of my videos. I can't remember which one. But if we ever do hit 1,000 subs, then I'll do like a hand cam stream. Because I do like to do scrapbooking. And that's something that I've always like thought about streaming, but it's too soon. It's too soon. So it shall wait. Alright, but here, let me say my announcements, especially the big one coming up. So let me hide this for now. But okay. So, oh well, this was released last month, but my new original song, What a Waste, it has been out. And I think right now it's at 92 views. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was going to be like stuck around like 50 or below views. Just because it is like my longest song to date. And yeah, you know, like usually with like longer videos, they don't tend to get as much views as like shorter videos. But yeah, I'm surprised. But yes, what a waste. I was gonna pay for membership. I woke up 5:30 in the morning, went out to cash in while it rained, and I just noticed no join button yet. Oh, oh yes, I'm not monetized yet. But thank you so much for considering it. Maybe one day we can get monetized so my memberships can open. Thank you. It is also available on multiple streaming platforms. So yes, do give it a listen. Very personal song to me. And it reveals my age. Alright. Yes, hopefully soon. Next announcement. So this is coming up. I'm gonna make it bigger. Oh, wait. Oh, I guess I did not make it bigger. Eh? What's going on? What's happening? Oh, I made the other one bigger. Okay, there we go. So I am gonna block myself. Because yes, coming up on August 29th, I am going to be in the VTuber Monster concert held by Corey Ojol. Yeah! Yeah! So she'll be streaming the concert on her Twitch. Yeah. I'll be performing the song Clarity, a group performance. Like, I think my part is only like 10 seconds. But I'm participating in it. So yeah. And again, I really would just sing the song for y'all. Like, just because I do want to. But my voice, I don't think it's good for my voice right now. I will save it for whenever my voice does sound better. When I'm not needing to repeat myself 1,000 times to my students every day. Sorry, quick hydrate. Gotta stay hydrated. Yeah. Oh, hello, Ida lover. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Will performance be live? And everything. Well, actually, okay. I don't want to miss it for. At least the group performances, to my knowledge, are pre-recorded. I'm not sure if Corey Oja will be performing live, or if her performances will be pre-recorded. But I know for the group performances, they are pre-recorded. Yes. Because then there are a lot of VTubers participating. I think it's 80 plus VTubers participating. Yes, Ida lover. Hello. How are you? But yes, the big announcement. It is happening next week. Oh snap. Alright. And one more. Oh, is that my updated one? Here, let me do my updated one. Real quick change. Bada bing! So I am an ambassador for Advanced GG. Yeah. That is what I'm drinking right now. I am drinking... Oh goodness, I forgot the flavor. Oh goodness, I'm terrible at this. But I am drinking one of their flavors, which is the Haikyuu collab. Oh goodness, and I can't remember the anime team's name or the main character's team's name. But yes, I did the Haikyuu collab. It does taste very good. I've been drinking it every day since I got it. And also, I bought technically 2, but the third one was free. So I ordered 3 more because there was a sale, I believe, last week where it was buy 2, get 1 free. So yes, I'm stocked up. Because I'm really trying not to get sick. I don't want to get sick. Oh yeah, because then let me share this. Oh yeah. Sorry. I was supposed to do my bit. Okay, so yes, I'm an ambassador for Advanced GG. You can save 10% off your next order using the code LalaLovers10, which is our fan name. Yeah. Okay, sorry. There you go. We can put that away. Put this here. Okay. But yes, wait, what was I saying? Oh, snap. Oh, so yes, I'm trying to avoid getting sick because the beginning of the year sickness is already starting, or it has started, and it's just getting worse. Like today, I think like 5 to 6 teachers were out because they were sick. Like one teacher that I know, she had like a 103-degree fever, which is really bad. So of course they couldn't come to the school, and I think a first grade class, like 7 students tested positive for COVID. So it's like, oh boy, no thanks, stay away. No thank you. It might be unavoidable as you meet so many people in the school year beginning, yes, and especially in pre-K because a good chunk of them are still like needing to learn, hey, you really need to wash your hands with soap because if you touch stuff without washing your hands, you're spreading your germs. That's getting people sick. Which is why it really surprised me for the 2 days this week that all of my students showed up. It's like, wow, one of you are not sick yet? But then here comes today where I had to send a student home because they weren't feeling well. But then 3 were already absent, in which I don't know if they were sick, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were. But yeah, really trying to avoid getting sick. Again, I don't think, but I truly believe my voice is like this because of all the talking I've been doing this week. Since I don't usually talk as much as I do during the summer. Yeah, sure, I did record like something each week, but it was only for like that little bit, not like 5 times a week, 8 hours a day. Like not for that much of a long time. So usually my voice is like this beginning of the year, just because I have to like get used to talking this much. Oh yeah, and like I said, even my team lead, who's been teaching for 20 plus years, her voice sounds even more shot than mine. Alright, actually, you know what? I'm gonna change the music. I was feeling Hololive, but I'm playing this lo-fi playlist. But yeah, I think I want to play something a bit more upbeat or something. So let me see what I can find. Let me see what I can find. Or actually, let me go to Stream Cafe. Because Stream Cafe, their music is copyright free. Or maybe Kind Words. The Kind Words playlist. Because they have one. Let's see how Kind Words is. Oh no, that's not the vibe I'm trying to go for. Maybe this one. Oh yes, I am noticing that my voice is like, there'll be moments where it sounds smooth and then moments where it doesn't. So it's just like, well, I guess rock and rolling. If it actually gets better by the end of stream, then maybe for real, I will sing clarity in full. But right now, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it cracking and then watch other people just happen to stumble upon stream, hear my voice is like, oh wow, does this person know that they're tone deaf? Or something like that. Like I'm not saying I'm the best singer or anything, but I know I can sound much better than how I currently sound. Okay, let's get started with Spill the Tea, sis. Spill the tea, sister. So yes, I will try my very best to make the focus more on like colleague interaction. So whether that be admin, teachers, I'll try my best not to mention students. And this is where it's like I get self-conscious, because I saw a Reddit post on the teacher subreddit about the influencers, teacher influencers, and how some actually like talk about students. And I don't know if it's whether they're name dropping students or just talking about them in general. In which I don't think I was, even when talking about my pre-K students. And I feel like pre-K is a bit more trickier just because, like, you know, of the fact that they wet themselves, like, who knows how many times. I think as of late, the most that is one single student has wet themselves was the first day of school, 3 times within the same day. But it's not like I'm saying names, but just because of that post, it's making me a bit more conscious of, should I really talk about my students? Oh, there is drama in pre-K, but again, in more teacher side. But we will save that for later. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a message from our communication app. I thought it was one of my parents, like, all right, let's take a pause, guys. Let me respond to this parent real quick. But no, I'm good. In which I think what made this week go pretty well is that all of last week, even like since like the very first day of school, like I reached out to like 7 parents already just to let them know, it's like, hey, I know it's just the first day of school, but I noticed that your child really, really needs to, get their act together, because tell me why they are already like shoving other students when most of my other students aren't doing that. Or tell me why you told me at Meet the Teacher your child was potty trained, but clearly that's not the case. Now, granted, I know there's various factors like anxiety and whatnot, but it's like, when you've been doing this for a hot minute, you can tell whether it's like, it's just pretty evident if they're potty trained or not. Charlie bit me. Oh, thank goodness I haven't gotten that yet. Knocking on wood. I don't know if you can hear me. Knocking on wood. Haven't gotten that yet. Alright. I guess, yes. But there is pre-K drama, teacher side. But that'll be later mentioned in the stream, because I'll go by each school year. And good thing I did make a Google Doc. If I didn't make this Google Doc about my talking points for this stream, I really think I would have forgotten like most of what I want to say. Good job, pass me. Good job. See, I like to plan ahead. Alright, and let's see. Here, I'll use this scroll right here to highlight which year I'm focusing on. So school year 2020 to 2021. Okay, so this is the school year that I'm focusing on. Oh, I need to put a space. Okay. We would have to wait, yeah. Okay. So 2020 to 2021 school year. So this was my very first year teaching, and I taught during COVID. So most of the school year, well, actually, okay, let me correct myself. So everything was virtual, but then halfway through the year, they allowed only those parents that were comfortable enough of sending their child to go in person. In which for me, I think it was half my class. So half my class eventually went in person to the school, but then the other half remained online, which was allowed because it was COVID year. But yes, so let's see. I mean, that's the biggest drama right there. Just kidding. But that was a big thing for that school year, is because of, like, even for veteran teachers, because it was everyone's first time needing to teach virtually for the whole school year, that they had to even put the curriculum online, strictly online. So it was like pretty much needing to make everything from scratch, because everything used to just be book, paper. But then because virtual learning, everything had to be online. And so definitely this school year, that just everyone, including admin, were pretty lenient when it came to like our teacher observations. It was like, I mean, what can you do? Like, even our admin who have taught for who knows how long, even they haven't really taught virtually like how we did during this year. So it's just like, yeah, it's brand new to everyone. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise. And then I know, like, okay, sorry. I know back then, before COVID, that most schools in most districts, like, they would require, like, those who were interviewing at their school to do a demo lesson. But then, because it was during COVID, that couldn't happen. So I just got hired. I feel like my my interview was very, very bad. Like, I think I still remember some of my answers. Like, whenever they asked me, so, what would you do if this happened, but you're teaching online? I will do my best to adapt to the situation. Like, it's just like those type of answers, because of course I've never taught online, and teaching has never been like online, at least like especially elementary level. So it's like I don't know, you don't know, so how am I supposed to know? It was time to turn digital anyway. I do agree, in which at least the district that I'm at, they are doing blended learning. So pretty much this should be at least. Now, not every classroom does it. It's really up to the teacher. But at least in my district, that for blended learning, 50% of the learning should be online, while 50% of the learning should be on paper. In which I'll say, like, whenever I did get to 3rd grade, I think I did do that. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job doing that. Like, yes, I'll teach the lesson, my slides, and then we'll do the paperwork. And then after they're done, then I told them they could be on their computers, and they can either just like read books from this website that is free for teachers, and they can just pretty much read any digital book on the website, but it's only allowed during school hours. So I think from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So either doing that, or I would even give assignments online, which I'm gonna be honest, that's where I took most of my grades. But yes, let's see. Oh, but the biggest drama. So besides needing to teach virtually during this school year, and I mentioned this in my last teacher stream, I believe, my principal got fired by the district. And to this day, 5 years later, I still don't know what happened. I don't know what my principal did. Because, like, they still did the state testing for the school at the end of the school year, but I think it didn't count for as much as it used to, just because, again, virtual learning online were pretty much like either students were actually doing it or the parents were doing their kids' work. Yes, it's probably better not to know. But it's just like, yeah, for that whole last month of school, my principal just wasn't present. It's just like, eh? Where are they? And then I think it was like the second to last day of school, where getting the email from district saying that my principal got fired from the district and they can't get hired anywhere else in the district. It was like, what? What'd you do? Because, like, I feel like it has to be a very big thing. And I don't think it was on the news or anything. So, yeah, it must have been something so big to where within district level, they just made that decision. Who was coordinating teaching process then? Yeah, I believe it was the assistant principals. We had two back then. They pretty much took over. Ah, yeah, oh goodness. Oh, and here's another one. I totally forgot about this until I remembered it. So on the last day of school, so one of the teachers, I think they weren't certified, and so because of that, they of course they were given the opportunity to teach throughout the school year, and then they have to receive a certain amount of hours, get signatures from admin by the end of the school year, pretty much saying, yeah, they did complete their hours, and that way they're that much closer to getting certified. But this teacher, I don't know what happened. Like, here I was just upstairs, in which, yes, this school is a 2-story school, which really surprised me. It's like, oh my goodness, this is an elementary school. What on earth? But, yeah, like, one of the teachers were just going off on one of my APs, and I forget what was said. But then, afterwards, after they walked out, so for this charter school, we communicated through a certain communication app to where even district is added to our chat. And so this teacher, they put in the chat like something so bad. Like pretty much like, I guess, venting out their frustrations and being very unprofessional. And for some reason, they could not delete that message. Like admin could not delete that message. So pretty much district could see what that teacher said. Oh gosh, I wish I had saved it if I had known I was gonna be doing this type of stream. But this happened so many years ago. But yeah, it was like me and the other teachers, we were just like, oh my goodness, this is so bad. Like, if that teacher was really trying to like have a career in teaching, they really just shot their chances. Oh goodness, sorry if you hear my nose. My nose is getting a bit stuffy because again it's cold. I did take a shower before stream too. Yeah. But yes, so that was a few of the dramas. Other than that, I mean, again, since everything was online, I hardly actually interacted with a good chunk of the teachers. Because even our district meetings and everything were online. But yeah, so that was 2020 to 2021 school year. Okay. Now we will move on to the 21 to 22 school year. Oh goodness. This school year was also... But I will say this. I keep on saying I will say this. Stop that, Star-LaLa. Stop it. Let me hit myself with my drink. And also, ignore the skin tone. That arm just got more tan than the rest of my body. Alright, let me hydrate before I talk about this school year. Okay, so this is whenever I decided to be a first grade teacher aide, because I left that charter school to go to a different charter school. Oh yeah, because the reason why I left the first charter school was because it was pretty much an hour drive from me, and I only accepted it because one, I needed a job. I needed this. And two, since I knew things were going to be virtual, that's why I pretty much accepted it. But then, like, of course, whenever I had to start going in person halfway through the year, I was doing the average hour drive there and back. And I was like, yeah, no, this is not it. And even my principal was like, yeah, I know. I understand if you don't want to come back just because it's such a far drive. I was like, thank you for understanding. So not because I did something bad, I promise. It's just because it was too far. So I left that charter school to go to a different charter school district, in which this one was much closer to home. It was only 10 minutes, actually not even 10, 5 minutes away from where I lived at the time. By the way, if there is more than one class in one grade, do they add letters? What do you mean by that, Lucky? And while I wait for your follow-up, I'll go ahead and continue for the school year. So yes, because I was jumping from one charter school district to the other, I didn't want to jump into a teaching position, so I decided to just be a first grade teacher aide. Yeah. So pretty much being an assistant to another teacher, which I know one could argue is like, why would you do that? That's much less pay, which it was. And also, like, kind of a waste of my certification, because I had to renew my certification every 5 years, so technically I'm wasting it by being a teacher aide. But I really wanted to make sure that I liked the school enough before I fully commit being a teacher. But yeah, I will admit, I was a bit messy this school year. Which looking back is just like, oh my goodness. Okay, lucky. Like if there is 50 kids in the first grade, so they divided into 2 groups. So yes, generally, at least from the schools that I have been to, even like the charter schools, that there would be 4 teachers for each grade level, and each teacher would have about like 20 to 30 students. And then I know at the first charter school, they did like give each teacher a letter. So for example, I think I was 1A, I think. But yeah, there would be 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D to differentiate the classes. I hope that answers your question. I think if that's what you were asking. But yes, I will admit, I was a messy bitch this school year. Because I'll just say this, my assistant principal at this new charter school was a complete mean person. I will not call them the words that I want to say in my head. Let me remain kind. But yes, they were very mean, very unprofessional, wanted to act like they knew everything, but they didn't. And they were very micromanagey, in which I know is like you can find people who micromanage like everywhere in jobs, but it's just like, oh this one. So let's just say yes, I was a bit messy with this assistant principal. And I still remember, because I was the one that did it. So this was, I think, right before winter break. And winter break, for those who don't know, is where students are off like around for Christmas holiday. And they're off for 2 weeks. Don't get back until January. Sorry, my nose. And then this was whenever, it was the year after, the pandemic hit, COVID. And so the week before winter break, like half of the staff were out. Like there's like, I think around 80 staff, let's say. So yeah, half of the staff, so 40 staff were out for that week before winter break. So we were low on staff. And since I was a teacher aide, of course I had a morning and afternoon duty. And I really wanted to make sure things went smoothly. So yes, I did stuff that I wasn't asked to do, but I wanted to do it because I wanted things to go smoothly. Like I want to make sure students get into the school in an orderly fashion, and same for leaving the school in an orderly fashion. So I went around, I collaborated with a lot of my fellow teacher aides. I even talked to teachers, and yeah, it did. We were just trying to make the best of it because we were low on staff. But then my assistant principal decided to try to pull some of the people who were helping out with dismissal, and it just made things a bit more stressful. And especially admin are supposed to be helping during dismissal, even my principal, my other assistant principals, because I think we had 3 that school year, but no one was helping. None of the admin were helping. And so yes, I got a bit frustrated. I said some stuff that I shouldn't have said, but if I'm just trying to make sure things are running smoothly. But then now here is the AP calling me to their office, and it is just they were just questioning why I was being so rude and why I made the comments that I said. And then, yes, I responded in a way that I shouldn't have, especially to my higher up. But I was frustrated. And like, how does it make sense that you are pulling other teachers and teacher aides during dismissal when we're trying to get students home? It didn't make sense to me. And then later that night, I get an email from the assistant principal saying that I am going to be receiving a write-up because of what I said. And I did cry that night because it's just so frustrating. Because I really feel like, yes, I know I should have said what I said, but then the assistant principal needs to realize what they did themselves, in which I honestly think they still don't think what they did was wrong. Yeah. And then the next day, I talked to my principal about it. Here he is, his quote-unquote mediate the situation by having the two of us talk in front of him, in which I was being the bigger person of apologizing, but my assistant principal didn't. Of course she didn't. But then, yeah, for pretty much for the rest of the year, I just ignored her. She just got worse throughout the rest of the school year, to where she made another teacher aide do her trainings because she was trying to be a principal, but here she is having another teacher aide do her trainings online, and she got caught. But here's her response. Oh, oopsie. Sorry, I didn't know that. But lo and behold, they got what they wanted. They were able to become principal at another charter school within the same district. But hey, at least that meant they weren't going to be back for the next school year. So I guess it worked out for that. Because I would have lost my marbles if they were going to be my assistant principal for the next school year. Because back then I was like, you know what? Despite the chaos, because charter schools are much more disorganized than ISDs, which ISDs stand for Independent School District. But yeah, I would say charter schools are much, much more disorganized. But despite that, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try of teaching here. But then I wasn't going to teach at all if that assistant principal stayed. So I guess it does work out with them getting what they want, with me getting what I want. But yeah, I did not like that assistant principal. And I know other workplaces have the same issue too, but it's like, yeah, this assistant principal definitely played favorites, so I definitely was not their favorite. Yes, I have to get used to stuff like that, in which I am now. Again, this what happened now 4 years ago. It was only my second year in education, so definitely a learning curve. Yeah. And I have learned not to overstep my job description. Only doing what I'm asked. That is the lesson. Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty much, Lucky. But alright. Now here's another big drama of this school year, in which I was also messy with this one too. I was so messy. Okay, so there was a fellow coworker who was also a teacher aide, who was a complete creep. Such a weirdo. Such a creep. Because this coworker, I don't know, I think he's just a very lonely person, to where he feels like he needs students' validation to feel complete in life. And so here he is asking a female student to give them a massage. Oh yes, completely normal, right? Here he is touching another female student's hair. Here he is giving another student a piggyback ride while we're doing a fire drill. Yes, a very lonely, lonely man. And so the same coworker was being a complete creep to my friend at the time. I say friend at the time because I don't talk to her anymore. But my friend at the time, who we became friends through this job. But yeah, like he was making like weird comments before this incident happened. But then apparently I was like taking the day off, and then whenever I come back, here is my friend telling me, yeah, this guy was saying some weird stuff to me, like he was making sexual comments towards me. And I said, what was he saying? And then saying something about like having a big dick and whatnot, actually pointing towards it during like morning duty, and being a trust fund baby and whatnot. But pretty much whenever I heard that really set me off. So we did do the step to tell an admin first. We did tell an admin, to where they did rearrange the order of how we did our morning duties, because the three of us were together up in the front of our morning duty. But then whenever we reported it to an admin, they rearranged it to where he was more in the middle of the area while me and my friend were still in the front. But this one day, like, he was already doing some weird stuff, and here he is walking towards my friend, and I am just telling him to back away. I did state, please don't, because you're making her uncomfortable. And then he made it a big deal. And then, like, we had walkie-talkies. So, kind of, I was being messy. Here I was saying through the walkie, hey, can you please stay away from my friend? Can you please? And that's where we kind of like, me and that guy were talking back and forth through the walkie. And our admin was listening it to where they told us, all right, guys, we will need to talk after morning duty. So here we go, morning duty being over, and me, my friend, and the guy, and one of the assistant principals were in her office. And she was like, all right, guys, what's going on? So here is a grown-ass man who is older than me and my friend, pretty much yelling at us for like 20 minutes straight, and pretty much making all these claims of what we've done to him and all that. And my assistant principal just allowing it. But yeah, he was just like yelling at us, rambling on for like 20 minutes. This is where I find it funny, because then once my assistant principal turned to me and my friend, she was like, well, is there anything y'all would like to say? And I just said, I just want him to stay away from us. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time anymore, like, prolonging the conversation. Like, clearly, he feels one way. Or, oh, sorry, well, correction. He feels multiple ways about us. And especially towards my friend. Because me and my friend truly believe that he, like, developed a crush on her. But then she had a boyfriend. But then my friend would share, like, issues that she would have with her boyfriend at the time. So I guess in some way he thought he had a chance with her. But yeah, that's pretty much what I said. I was like, I just want him to stay away from us. And then from there, like, I think the guy felt a little bit embarrassed, because he probably thought that I was gonna like do an argument with him or something. It's like, no, just stay away from us, especially my friend. Because, like, if you're going to be a complete creep, a weirdo, not to her, but also to other female students, in which a big red flag, if you are asking an elementary school student to massage your back, You're weird. I'm sorry to say that. You're weird. Oh, goodness. And then, yeah. Yeah, apparently they got asked back because he was there the previous school year, but then the previous school year was COVID. So I don't think he was around like students that much since everything was mostly virtual. But yeah, he was very touchy, especially towards female students, and only talking to female students. But guess what? He did not get asked back to, or he did not, what's the word? What's the wording? He did not get asked back for the next school year. Surprise! Sorry to say that. So good riddance. Because if he had stayed, in which my principal at the time, I was already questioning his credentials, but I definitely would have just probably left. Because then, pretty much your comments remind me, Lucky, of just like, yeah, if you're gonna hire those people at your school and you keep them, then that's kind of telling of your character, yeah? Like, I understand you don't want to lose people, but you have to keep the right people, especially in a school setting. Because imagine if parents ever did find out that happened. Because unless the student is that aware that if a teacher is asking them that, if they had any idea the teacher had like any other intentions, it wasn't for a bad one. But I truly believe in that case that he was doing it to be a weirdo. Alrighty. Oh, and here, I need to put on chapstick. My lips are getting dry. But yeah, that was my messy school year. That was really messy. But alright, we will move on to the next school year. So the 22 to 23 school year. So this is where I decided to become a second grade. Okay, wait, hold on. Correction. I decided to become a teacher at the same charter school. But then the plan was for me to be a first grade teacher. But then my principal called me over the summer and asked if I could switch to second grade because they lost a second grade teacher, so they needed someone to be placed there. At the time, my only experience was with first grade. So I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. As long as it's not third grade and higher, I'll give it a try. And I will say, it was a pretty successful school year. I loved the new AP because that previous school year I was talking about where the AP was very, very mean. This one was very, very nice. Amazing. Love her. And then this school year, I had 31 students in my class. But fortunately, I had a teacher assistant at the time. So that definitely made management easier. But yeah, it was a roller coaster of different issues with various students, in which I won't go into detail because that's not what this stream is about. But pretty much like each week, there was a different issue with a different student. But at least with this class, I had the GT class. So a good chunk of students were GT or of a higher academic level, which makes my job so much easier. But I guess the only drama that I have taken note here. Oh, actually, hold on. I love how I did leave this out. Oh, GT is gifted and talented. So students who took the test the previous school year, and if they have a certain score in each domain or whatever, I don't know the full details of the test, but if they get a certain score on that test, then they get placed into the program for gifted and talented. And then well, I'll say it like this for now. They get that label on them. And from there, they are able to do GT activities. So like the big projects that they do throughout the school year. And then that school year, I had to do samples for each of my GT students, in which I had like 10. So that was a lot of samples I had to collect that school year, because I had to do it every grading period, which I think we had 4. So yeah, 10 of them times 4, 40 samples. It really depends on the school, cause like yeah, even at the charter schools and at my current school, I have not like heard of it being a bullying issue, which is a good thing. But I do see what you're talking about. But let's see. But yeah, this school year, oh boy. So one of the second grade teachers who is not certified, oh gosh, Hot Mess Express. That's the kindest way I could put it. Hot Mess Express. Like, it's very, very evident they have not taught before. And I think this is where, if you don't, I guess, educate yourself of how you should act in a work setting, especially in a school setting. And it's like, if you haven't gone to university to take those classes, or like I said, educate yourself, then it's pretty evident, because Hot Mess Express. So one of the second grade teachers, she would wear the most interesting outfits. Like, I think for their birthday, they dressed up like in this cow dress outfit, but it was so bad. It was so revealing. It was revealing parts that it should not be revealing to second graders or any child in that school. I am surprised she did not get sent home, because that's like that. Our admin could tell that to a teacher. It's like, hey, you need to go home and change. It was so bad. And it's just like, oh, I don't know how they taught, but they just like she would teach strategies, even though my team lead would say, hey, if you're going to teach this strategy, make sure you adjust how you're teaching it, because it can lead to the wrong answer. Did she care? No. She just did her own thing. She did not care at all. She would never listen. Oh, there's my stream elements. Let me do it, especially for anyone who may be lurking. Hi Lala, it's Star-LaLa. Hope you have been enjoying the stream. If you like it that much, please do consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel. Oh, sorry, my voice. But yes, this teacher, and then there would be often that this teacher would show up late, because they did not have a consistent mode of transportation. So they would always have to use like Uber or something to get to work. But this is where you are aware of the time you are given to come to work. So let's say if the time was 7:30 a.m., because that's when school starts, and that's whenever we have to go pick up the students from the gym. So if you are fully aware of that even before school starts, then you plan ahead, yeah? Especially if you don't want to get written up just because you don't show up to work on time, which again gets stated way before the school year starts. So tell me why. It's always a consistent issue with this teacher throughout the whole school year, but then acts as if they had no idea. People amaze me. And I wouldn't sound so harsh if we on the team didn't get affected. Because each time they're late, then we as a second grade team would have to coordinate around her. So either we have to split her students sometimes for them to be in our class until she finally arrives, or they pull some other teacher aide to cover her class, which is not fair to the teacher aide. And yeah, it's just like you are aware of what time you're supposed to come to work. And if you're late for that many times throughout the school year, then I don't know. I'm probably being mean and heartless about it, but it just other things that went on with that teacher. I mean, just work ethic, professionalism. Yes, exactly, Lucky. Some people just don't understand social norms. And again, I wouldn't be sounding so harsh if it wasn't an issue for the next school year, but it was. And apparently, this teacher also was terrible at taking attendance on time. Because I became friends with one of the attendance clerks, and she would tell me how she would always have to call this teacher every single day for them to take their attendance. Because we need to take our attendance because it gets sent to district, and that's how they pretty much give schools money. If students attend school, you get money. And that gets stated literally way before school starts. And then even whenever the attendance clerk would call her, and she would pick up and say, hey, you need to take your attendance, she would respond, okay, I will. Never does it. To where they have to get, because we take our attendance virtually, but if you don't submit it within a certain amount of time, then you have to do a paper one. They would always have to do a paper one. And again, just inconvenience to the attendance clerk because they already have a lot of other stuff that they have to do. It is just an inconvenience that they have to print out this one paper for that one teacher just for them to take their attendance. Ah, yes, Lucky. The English language is complicated with its multiple meaning words. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then there was a field trip. I think I did state this on a stream. But yeah, there was a field trip where, again, social norms, throw it out the window. Professionalism, throw it out the window. Because if it's a field trip, a school field trip, yes, you can have parent chaperones. And so yeah, parent chaperones, students, teachers, school field trip. So tell me why this teacher brought her child and her mom on this field trip and mostly spent it with her child and her mom when she should be monitoring her class. And I know there's a teacher assistant, but why? Like, that just blows my mind. And I think, oh God, now that I'm remembering and talking about it, I think it was one of our award ceremonies for the students where she brought her child. And she actually held her child as she was presenting the awards to the students. Oh my god! And I remember the parents' reactions, even especially my parents, because my parents were really on top of it. They're really good at like responding to me. They loved me, I loved them. So whenever she did that, they looked at me like, what the flip? And I was like, looking back, and I tried. I don't know if my face did remain professional. I tried, but oh my goodness. So again, Hot Mess Express. But because this was her first year teaching, and my principal does not make educated decisions, that she was asked back for the next school year. In which that's what we're jumping into. So here we go, jumping into the 23-24 school year. So this was I think one of my most stressful school years at the I guess, because it was a big change. So this school year was the year I resigned. Hold on, let me hydrate real quick, because this is also a pretty long one. Okay. So the 23-24 school year. So pretty much, I stayed at the same charter school up until November. I was still in second grade. My class size this school year was 30 students. But this school year, we lost our teacher assistant. To where instead of each classroom having a teacher assistant, we only had the one shared amongst the whole grade level. Then they changed up so many things. Like, we used to have a library. For some reason, they took away the library. So then we were expected to have library time in our classrooms. So pretty much it was on the teacher to have library books, quote unquote, in the classroom. There was district changes with technology, to where because the older students kept on destroying technology, the technology that they limited the technology to only 10 for each classroom instead of a full class set of like 30 plus. Yes, the library. So at schools, they have a school library to where students could go there, check out books to read, and just return it like a public library, except this was for school. But then at this charter school, like the library used to be in like, there used to be a library in a big room, but then they removed it to make it a computer lab, and then it was in a smaller room. But then for the 23-24 school year, the one I'm talking about right now, they fully removed it to where they expected the teacher to pretty much have library in the classroom. In which, fortunately, I did have a lot of books that I collected throughout the years, but sadly I had to leave it there because I resigned. And whenever I was moving my stuff out, I had to get everything in one go. And so sadly, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make in leaving those books. But I mean, a good chunk of those books I got for really cheap, because I went to a cheap bookstore that sold them for like only $1 each. So it was not that big of a deal. But I know it is money wasted, but who doesn't waste money? But yeah, so this school year, oh boy. Yeah, even before I resigned, just a lot of drama stuff, where I had the admin changed to where the AP that I loved so much Is it school books or like sub-story books? Whenever there was the actual library, it was school books. But then whenever we had to do it in our own classroom, it was storybooks. So books that teachers had on themselves. I don't know what they did with the actual library books. But yes, so yeah, my assistant principal who I loved so much, they moved. Okay, so let me clarify this because I didn't say it. So whenever I was teaching the previous year as a second grade teacher, they were the assistant principal for pre-K to second grade. But then this charter school goes from pre-K all the way to 8th grade. So there would be a different assistant principal for 3rd and 8th grade. But yeah, because my assistant principal, who I love so much, did such an amazing job, that my principal decided, instead of doing the amazing job, like of what you're doing for pre-K to second, and make sure that they're rock and rolling, let's just move you up to 3rd and 8th grade. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess. And so my new assistant principal for pre-K to second for this school year was bad. I'm not gonna lie, they were bad. Now am I gonna say that they were worse than my other assistant principal who I said was mean? One could argue. But yeah, so this assistant principal, I feel like really had no clue what was going on. I feel like they were talking out of their booty hole. I don't know what else to say. I as much as I would like to share more details, I kind of really don't want to get into it. It just frustrates me when, and I know this is applied to everywhere else, but after like the difference of my previous assistant principal, who was amazing, love her, always on the teacher side, and the switch up to the one for this school year were complete opposite, against the teacher, not helpful at all. And tell me why you are pulling me from my class for 40 minutes to talk about an issue with a parent, in which I have already stated my side of the story. And you could pull me during my conference time when I don't have the students, but you decide to pull me when I do have my students. I'm literally in the middle of teaching. And I still remember it was science. I'm teaching my science, and then here I am getting pulled, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it'll just be like a quick conversation. No, it's literally a full class period, 40 minutes. And pretty much working against me. It's not my fault that the parents are crazy. Because for some reason, parents at charter schools, they really feel like they're at a private school. Because private schools, yes, I get it. If you're paying 10 to 20K for your child's education, you have all the right to get all up on the teacher. But this charter schools, yes, you have to pay for a uniform, but the uniform is just like maybe $20 to $30. Yes, I understand, depending on family financial situations, that could still be expensive. But if you pay, it's a school of choice. Charter schools are a school of choice. You don't have to send your child to this school. You decided to send your child to the school, so you are willing to pay just that amount for the uniform, and that's it. You're not paying 10 to 20K for your child's education. But some parents really are that entitled, thinking that a charter school is a private school. Again, I'm not going to go into detail of the parents that I'm talking about, just because I do want to forget it. I hate it. But yes, and also yes, locking. Like you can't just walk away. Especially because again, I did learn my lesson from whenever I was really messy from that one school year. So I was just sitting there taking the talk, and there was another assistant principal who was in charge of behavior. She was also there, and pretty much told me I should be on like a teacher plan, like a teacher development plan. And that's where I knew that was my sign. Is like, yeah, no, this ain't it. Like, I really felt like I was being talked to like a child, that I had no idea how to do my job. And after the amazing year I had the previous school year, and even my assistant principal for the previous school year, like, of how she would talk to me, have conversations with me about my teaching and all that, I would love to trust her judgment over theirs. So if my assistant principal who loved me, and I loved her back, if she told me I'm a good teacher, then yeah, I'm gonna think I'm a good teacher. So I'm not gonna have these two new admin, especially my new assistant principal for this school year, tell me, acting as if I can't do my job, don't know what I'm doing, and having her be the one to grade me. Like, no, I really felt wronged, and I still feel that way. Cause, like, no, you're not gonna treat me like that. And this is where the good thing with charter schools is that you can just resign. It's in the contract. You can resign at any time, any point, with no penalty. You won't get your license revoked. Because if it was an ISD school, then yeah, within a certain amount of time, you could get your license revoked so you wouldn't be able to teach for who knows how long. But with charter schools, you don't run that risk. and so I was just like, after many other incidents that have happened with other students and the lack of admin support and just the constant feeling that I was being treated as if I did not know how to do my job, and I really felt disrespected, I felt belittled, that I made the big decision to resign. Charter and private. Here, I'll do the spellings in the chat. Let me see, where is it? So yes. Oh, sheesh. Charter and private, yes. So for private schools, it's, well, I'm not fully knowledgeable, but with private schools, the parents pay a huge amount of money to send their child there to get a quote-unquote high-quality education. And for private schools, they don't have to follow the same curriculum as the state, because the state has a set curriculum. You say you can't read these type of books. You can teach this type of stuff, but not this stuff. But with private schools, they don't have to follow the state curriculum. They just pretty much do whatever they want, honestly. And parents pay them a huge amount of money. I'm not kidding when I say it's like 10 to 20K per semester. So it's pretty much like paying for college. And that's even if you send your child to private school, like in kindergarten. It'll be like 10 to 20K. That much money for each semester. While for charter school, it's still a public school, but it's where they will have students wear uniforms, and parents do have to pay for the uniforms. But it's pretty much like a regular public school. The only difference is they're wearing uniforms, but per day? Oh, no. They pay 10 to 20K each semester. So like in university, there will be the fall semester and then the spring semester. And sometimes if you want to take classes during the summer, then there's a summer semester. So it's paying $10,000 to $20,000 for each semester. Sorry, my nose. Maybe I'll go blow my nose after this conversation. Oh goodness. What was I saying? Oh, I think I was explaining charter schools. But yeah, with charter schools, yeah, the only different. So they wear uniforms. Students wear uniforms. Parents have to pay for the uniforms. That's pretty much it. And with charter schools, they can get away of like having the class size being 30 to like a little bit more than 30 students. Because usually, like, at least at my current district, the max is 24 students in each classroom. But with charter schools, there's like some loophole about where like they could get away with shoving 30 students in a classroom and there's only one teacher. Yes. Going back to me resigning, yes. And I think I was thinking of resigning for like a good solid month before I actually did it. And I was gonna wait till winter break. So I was gonna wait till December to resign. But I was like, you know what? I am so done with this place. I cannot wait till that long. So I did resign in November, right before the Thanksgiving break. Oh goodness. I am very glad I made that decision. Because I heard later on from another teacher that things did not get better. So I am glad I did make the decision back then. But it was a big risk. It was a risky decision. Because I think it's right to say this. I did have a job lined up because I had an interview that same week I resigned. And I was offered the job right on the spot. But then I had to go through the HR process. And the references that I used, most of them weren't actually responding to my principal. So I think that delayed the process. And then I also did it before Thanksgiving break, in which HR is off during Thanksgiving. And it was literally the month before winter break. So in which HR is off during the winter break. I had to wait till then. So yeah, I was jobless for 2 months. Fortunately, I saved my money enough to where I could afford to do that. But I was getting worried. I was getting a little bit worried. Because I just wasn't working. So I wasn't bringing in income. And it was just my fiance. But my fiance doesn't make as much as I do. So it was a bit of a struggle for those 2 months. But again, fortunately enough, I did have like a bit of savings to do that move. Because, of course, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have enough money. But I had plenty to just go ahead and make that decision. It gave some courage, I guess. Yeah, again, I am glad I did do it at the end, especially now that it's been like 2 years. And I am pretty happy at my current district and school. I'm not glad about what's going on political side of education. But for now, I am glad at what's happening at my current school. Because I am at the grade level that I want to be in. Which will be a talk for later. But yeah, I was jobless for 2 months. I was really worried. But then, the very good news, so sometime in December, I got this really, really good paycheck because that first year I did teaching 2nd grade with my GT students, because they made such good scores on the on this test that we take like 3 times a year. So they take it at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. And because they showed growth, like most of my students showed a lot of growth on that test, then I got a certain amount of money, in which I'll say, yeah, I got a good amount of money from that. I didn't know I was gonna get it. I was under the impression I wasn't going to get it because I resigned like pretty much before the middle of the year. But I did get the money, and I'm grateful because that made me very worried. I was like, oh gosh, what if I'm jobless for a few more months? Like, what if it actually doesn't work out with my current school? So I was very worried, very, very worried. But no, it all worked out. Yes, surprise money is best cut. I was like, thank you. Thank you to whoever I believe in up there. Thank goodness. Because I was getting worried, but once I got that money, I felt a bit better. I was like, okay. I still hope things work out of getting hired at my current school. But if it doesn't, then I can be jobless for a little bit more. It's okay. But I think this is a good pausing point that I'm going to blow my nose. So I'm going to mute myself real quick. Just chill. Okay. Yeah, my avatar did look angry. Like, here I am just trying to blow my nose on the side, and I thought my sleeping animation was gonna go off, but it didn't, so it just made me look angry. He's like, I'm not angry. Gotta stay hydrated. Alright. So now we continue on with this 23-24 school year, where then I finally get hired at my current school in January. Yay! But again, I did my thing to where I didn't want to fully commit to being a teacher until I got a feel of the school, feel of the district, see if I like it. Because I don't want to teach at a school that I'm not going to like. Especially since now it's an ISD, an independent school district. To where I can't just up and leave if I hate it. So, yes, that's why I became a teacher aide again. This time in pre-K. Because I'm trying to remember. I think whenever I was interviewing at the time, the only positions open was a 4th grade position and this teacher aide position for pre-K. But I did apply to just be a teacher aide. But I still remember my principal whenever I interviewed, and she was like, she had to do like a double check because she saw my teaching certification. And she was like, are you sure you want to be a teacher aide? You're certified. I was like, yes, ma'am, I do. I just want to be a teacher aide. And also, I didn't want to touch 4th grade. Like, whenever I did my student teaching in 3rd grade, way back then, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to teach 3rd grade and higher. My my grade range is pre-K to second grade. I do not want to touch third grade and higher, which will be ironic as I talk about the next school year, but we're not there yet. But at the time of this interview, I also try to speak professionally. So whenever asked why I didn't want to do the fourth grade teacher position, I was like, well, it is the middle of the year, and I have not ever taught fourth grade, which is a state testing grade level. And so I did not want to put that on the students and affect their scores. In which my assistant principal at the time, she actually was like nodding her head in agreement. It's like, oh, yes. I'm glad you are self-aware about the state testing and blah, 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 blah. But yes, so I became a pre-K aide, and I worked under an amazing teacher. She is so wonderful. And honestly, it was probably a blessing in disguise that I did not get hired until the second part of the year, because my teacher at the time, she said it was a very, very rough beginning of the year. She said for this school year, and she's taught 20 plus years. She said this school year was the roughest out of all of her 20 plus years. And apparently, at the beginning of the year, her and the two other pre-K classes had 30 students, which is not normal at all for ISD schools. The max is supposed to be 24, but for some reason, something happened to where each class had 30. And so my teacher went up to the principal and went like, hey, I love you. I really do love you. But you can't do this to us. You gotta figure something out, because it's just not right. Yes, there is a teacher aide in the classroom, but 30 little ones, 3, 4, 5 years old, in one classroom that can only fit so much? Yeah, no, something has to get done. You gotta do something. Yeah, Lucky. So, my principal said the classic line that she likes to say, trust the process. And she eventually did hire 2 more pre-K teachers, and thus it did level out the classrooms. Or actually, technically 3 pre-K teachers. I said 2 because 2 was for general education, and the third one was for bilingual. So for the students who spoke Spanish and English. Yes. So yes. So and I heard that student behavior was interesting. It was very interesting at the beginning of the school year. So by the time I joined in January, most of the issues were already resolved. And because my teacher is so amazing, everything that she did in the first part of the year made the second part of the year easier, smoother, for the most part. As smooth as you can get in pre-K. Oh, trust the process, she plays strategist. I would like to say my principal is more of a strategy type of person. But I also feel like what's the word? I wouldn't say emotional, but it's pretty evident whenever she is upset. It's pretty evident. I don't know if she realizes it, but her tone and facial expression really gives it away. But again, her leadership really does amaze me. Even of times whenever she is upset, it's just the way she talks. It's just oh my goodness. I wish I could talk like her. Some people are just meant to be in that leadership role, that leadership position. But yes, let me continue on before I keep on complimenting my principal. If you're watching, principal, please don't. I really hope no one ever figures out that this is me, especially with my voice sounding like this. Maybe it's a good thing my voice is shot. Like the odds are so low, but it's never zero. But alrighty, let's continue on. So let's see what this school year. Okay, I shouldn't be giving this ex-friend the title, cause I kind of call her the B word. But at the time, I befriended one of the other teacher aides. And like we hit it off pretty quick because we were pretty close in age. Yeah, because our other coworkers, they're a bit older than us, more so than others. Especially like my teacher, she's a retirement age. She did retire at the end of the school year. So yeah, there's quite of an age gap. So me and this other coworker, ex-friend, we were closer to in age, so that's how we befriended each other. But I mean, at the beginning of our friendship, things were going well for the most part. But then I think this is a personal thing with me, and maybe other people will find it a problem. But because like with me, if I'm gossiping, if I'm talking shit, I'm gonna talk my shit. Like if I'm meaning it in a bad way, in a mean way, I will say it up front. I'm not afraid to say that. Now, yes, I know not to say it about the person I'm talking about, and I try my best to be careful of who I'm saying it to. Because if I know if they're friends with that other person, then yeah, gotta be careful what I say. But if I'm gonna talk my shit, I'm gonna talk my shit. So, but then with my friend, my ex-friend, it's like she will always say this every single time when we're gossiping or spilling the tea or talking shit, that no offense, I really mean this, no offense, but, and then she'll say what she's saying. It's something mean. And it's just like, okay, the first few times of you saying no offense, okay, maybe it was a bit, but she will literally say it every single time. No offense, but da 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 da. No offense, but da 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 da. Girl, just say it. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just us. But again, that could be a personal thing. That maybe just be me. Maybe it's a pet peeve of mine. But then, like, essentially, it just gets to the point where I'm just like, okay, girl, I see you're trying to play like the nice person, but if you're still gonna say like the mean thing, then say no offense in front of it kind of doesn't mean anything. If anything, you're preparing me or whoever you're talking to that you're preparing us for your offensive comment or statement. Yes, it feels like a parasite phrase. Especially like I said, like at first I thought it was a bit, so I didn't mind. But it was a constant thing to where it's like, just say it. Now that I'm saying that though, I guess I'm being hypocritical a little bit whenever earlier I think I was talking about my mean principal. Was it the mean principal or the creep? I can't remember. But whenever I was saying I didn't mean it in a mean way. But I don't know. Here I'm trying to justify myself. And I can't even remember what I talked about. But I think whatever I was talking about, I was in the mindset of how I could see of other people saying it in a mean way. But Like, I was just, like, stating it still, like, yeah, I can't remember. I lost my thought. It just made me reflect on what I just said earlier. It's like, huh. I mean, yeah, I'm hypocritical. Yeah, who isn't hypocritical? Okay, yeah, moving on. I say by the way a lot IRL, even if it's not by the way. Yeah, that I don't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. And I know I repeat like some words, like I say so a lot, or I say alright a lot, or yeah, I say some words a lot. But the no offense, and then say something mean, like yeah, no. Like if you're just gonna say something mean, just say it. But yeah, essentially this ex-friend was interested on becoming a teacher. Actually, hold on. Let me take a pause. I want to turn on my lights. It's getting dark in my room. Ah! Okay. Lights are on. Lights are on. In here, because I did that, let's actually reflect this, have the setting reflect the time. No offense, by the way. So yeah, all right. Oh gosh, if I ever meet a person that does that, I don't know what I would do. But yes, right now I'm just changing the background to reflect my time. Bada bing. And then we gotta change out the desk. No, the desk is fine. I don't care about the desk. Yay! Actually, I do care about the desk. Night desk. Eh? Oh, because it's a video. Hold on. Sorry, I meant to do the PNG. There we go. Night desk. Yes, now it's nighttime. How romantic, right? Just kidding. I'm taking get away. Alright. Nah. It's 3 a.m. here. Good thing to work tomorrow. Lucky. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for staying up, watching my stream, and keeping me company. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I really hope you don't, ruin your sleep schedule because of this. I'm so sorry. If you're really sure, it's fine. Oh, thank you, Rocky, so much. Your support means a lot. Thank you. Oh, okay, that's good. Because, yeah, I would do the same during the summer, where if I'm really that tired for some reason, I would sleep in the evening. But then because I would take that nap, that I would stay up like maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning just because of that nap. Hey, what was I talking about? Oh, my ex-friend. So yes, this ex-friend was working on getting their certification of being a teacher. And they were under the impression that high school was easy. And it not in the, especially after COVID in this digital age. Yeah, no, high school is not easy. But she thought otherwise. And that's what she was working her certification on. I will not be too specific. I'll make up random grade levels for her certification. Like, let's say she was getting her certification with 9th to 12th grade math. So just math, not any other subject. So very limiting very limited on her certification. In which, I mean, do what you gotta do. If that's all you're interested in, if that's all you want to do, sure. But she sounded really unsure about it. But she was dead set of wanting to be a high school teacher. And she has no prior education experience. Her being a pre-K teacher with, or pre-K aide, teacher aide, alongside with me. Where at this point, I've been in education for about 3-4 years. And her only experience is this one school year being a pre-K aide. And she wants to jump to high school. And I'm not going to go into detail about how she is as a person. But after getting to know her, and the rest of the teachers on the pre-K team would agree, where it's just like, yeah, no, I hate to say it, girly, I don't think you're gonna make it in high school. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you are well, this is where it's dependent, I get it, but if you're barely surviving, pre-K, and you want to make that jump all the way to high school, where, like, yeah, it's just a completely different world. But it's like, she was dead set just because her mom is a substitute teacher and she has subbed in those high schools, and her mom would say that it's pretty easy. You just gotta, like, put them on a computer and just give them assignments on it. Just teach like that. But, like, the perspective is different. Substitute teaching is so much different than being a classroom teacher. Because as a substitute teacher, you're just there to sub, in which most substitutes, yes, at least trying won't hurt. In which, I mean, she still did it for the next school year. But then I'll talk about later how it turns out it wasn't a surprise that it's not what she wanted to do. But we'll talk about that later. But yes. So she did get sorry. Oh gosh, I'm starting over my words. So she did get certified eventually. She did pass her test, and she did complete her observation hours, in which she kind of cheated the system with, which I'm not going to go into detail about. But yeah, so pretty much she is a certified teacher. Now, this is what really kind of irritates me about her, and I think this was the starting point where I was like, I don't know how I feel about our friendship. So she had this vendetta against teachers who are uncertified. Now, don't get me wrong, I do get the whole argument that you don't want to send your child to school just to have a teacher who is not certified. But then, like, the teachers who are uncertified, they have to at least be in the process of getting certified. And that's why they're in the teaching. Because they don't just get hired. Like, they don't just find anyone off the streets like, hey, you're hired. By the way, it's okay you don't have your certification. No. Like, the teachers who are uncertified, they are working on it. It's just, right now, especially after COVID, more school districts are accepting teachers who are uncertified. But then they have to work on their certification throughout that school year. So they're technically getting that experience throughout the school year, but of course they have to, on top of that, take whatever classes they need to, get their observation hours as they need to, and pretty much take their certification tests. So it's not the end of the world if a teacher is uncertified. Now, for me, I will say, if a teacher is uncertified and they're not willing to show that they want to learn, though they don't want to put in the effort, do their job, then yeah, that's what I'll say. Well, yeah, it's clearly obvious that you're an uncertified teacher because of all these factors. But if it is a teacher who is amazing at their job, they are putting in the effort, they are doing everything that they can, just like a certified teacher would. It's just that they're uncertified and they're just going through a different route to get their certification, then yeah, that does not make them a bad teacher. But my ex-friend would say otherwise. She was just dead set of, I'm worried about this student because they're teaching under an uncertified teacher. Okay. And you know that teacher. That teacher is the team lead for her grade level. If she was given the team lead position, despite being uncertified, that means she is pretty good at her job. Yeah? Because at least at my school, the team leads have to put in an application, and my principal chooses who's the team lead. And I would like to say, as a principal, that you would choose people who are competent at their jobs, who do their job pretty well. So, just because they're uncertified does not mean they're bad. But despite my talking points, my ex-friend would just believe otherwise and would even say, it's not that hard to get certified. Look how easy I got my certification. I just did X amount of courses. I treated the system of completing my observation hours, and I just took the test. Well, your test is a little bit different from elementary school. Because for my certification, like, I'll just say it, mine is from EC, early childhood, all the way to 6th grade. That's a lot. And then that's being an early childhood to 6th grade generalist. So what that means is I pretty much I can teach any subject. And I had to take all the tests for it. I had to take the reading, math, science, social studies, music, art, and PE test. Now, granted, yes, PE, music, art, that's all combined into one test, but all the other subjects were different tests. And if you fail one of the subjects, you have to retake it. Not the whole thing, just that one subject. And the most common subject that gets failed in my state is the social studies test. And those tests are not cheap either. Like, you are paying $100+ for each test. Now, fortunately with me, because I did it while I was in university, that my university actually gave me a big discount to take the test, so I did not have to pay nearly as much. And thank goodness I passed all of them in one try. I was so afraid of social studies, but I actually passed it fairly well. The one that I barely passed was science. I almost failed science, and I was really surprised. I was like, what? And I was also worried about English too, language arts, because my reading is definitely not the best. But I passed that too, so I was like, yay! But yeah, that's where it's like, you did not have to take that test. You just took the 9th to 12th grade math test. So all you had to worry about was math. So for you, yes, that was easy. But for those who are getting the elementary certification, like how I did, it's not as easy. Now, I'm not saying she did not work hard to get her certification. Of course, she had to study for it and all that. But to say it was that easy for you does not mean it's applied for everyone else, especially depending on what type of certification you're trying to go for. Because I believe my team lead, her certifications from early childhood all the way to 4th grade. Yes, so you have to pay for the test. Like for my certification, if it wasn't for the discount, I think it would have been like $120 for each test, for each subject. So $120 for math, and then science, then reading, then social studies, and then then PE, music, and art. So that was 5 tests. So that would have been like pretty much like $600 and $700 right there. Whereas if my ex-friend, if she had failed her math one, then she would just have to worry about retaking just the math part. Yeah, it ain't cheap being a teacher. But the good news is, once you're fully certified, at least in my state, every 5 years, you just pay, again, like $100 to renew it. But at least it's set for the next 5 years. It does suck you have to pay to renew it, but I would rather pay to renew it than take all 5 tests again. Because if you fail to renew it within your expiration date of your certificate, then yeah, you have to take the test again. So it's like, I would rather pay the $100 every 5 years than take the test, all 5 tests again, and pay for each test. I wonder how much it is here. Well, only if you're comfortable enough of sharing, Lucky. It's like, you don't have to give me like your city or anything, but maybe country, and we can look into it later. Or I can look into it later and talk about it next stream. Or if you want to do research on your own end, you can do that too. Yeah, it's pretty much an investment. I mean, again, I went to university. I took that test and passed it. I was like, I might as well just pay the renewal. That way I don't have to go through the test all over again. Oh my god. Okay. This is a leeway. Or, wait, not leeway. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Okay, you'll research by yourself later. What's the word? A pivot? That doesn't sound right. I can't think of the word. But either way, this is kind of going, off track. There we go. This is going off track, but with me saying about certification. Okay, so I think it was this week, yeah, at my Tuesday meeting that I went to, another teacher was talking about this in front of my principal and the assistant principal as I was walking in, and here she is stating, by the way, my certificate is going to expire in 2 days. Hello? It is so, my poor principal, here she is trying to be like, how come you haven't renewed it yet? Question mark? And here is the other teacher's response. Oh, I don't want to pay for it. Eh? Hello? Girly, I'm sorry to say this, but if you don't pay for it, if you don't renew it, you're gonna have to take your test again. Huh? In which you have to pay for the test. Thank you, Stream Elements. Let me do my plug. After the disbelief, I'm in. Hi, Lala. It's Star-LaLa. Hope you have been enjoying their stream. If you like it that much, please do consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So, yes. Imagine my disbelief where she had the confidence to say that in front of my principal. It expires in 2 days. How come you haven't paid for it? I don't want to pay for it. I sure hope she paid for it, because it's been past the 2 days. And here's the kicker. This teacher is the team lead. Because she showed she was capable the previous school year. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I would like to assume the best. Because I did see her today at dismissal. So I would like to assume that she took the bullet, paid the monies to get it renewed. That would be the smart decision. Alright. Oh, see. Sorry, I went off tangent. So, ex-friend. Oh, yeah. And I feel like I went on a rant on her not liking uncertified teachers. So let's move on. So now, this is still the same school year. I'm not done. So this school year, we get introduced to one of the teachers that got added to the pre-K grade level to help even out the classrooms. So her previous experience was in daycare. So she was a daycare worker, in which, I mean, thank you to the daycare workers who do take care of the kids there. And she's not certified. So she is an uncertified teacher. And yeah, pretty much. Sorry, I blanked out because I'm trying to be careful of my wording. But yes, pretty much her being a daycare worker showed in the classroom. Because here she is being a pre-K teacher. And there is a set curriculum. There is set things you should be doing with the students, what you should be teaching to the students, what activities you should be teaching to the students. But does she do them? No. She pretty much treated the classroom like a daycare and would always either play cartoons or movies in which TV shows and movies are needing approval by admin before showing them. Did she ever get approval for it? No. And if she were to have them do anything, it would just to be like a quick worksheet or whatever. But she wouldn't do the whole pre-K routine where we have our morning circle. We talk about the rules, talk about the expectations, routines, procedures, and then from there get started with the curriculum, teaching whatever letters, whatever the focus is of the week, whatever the theme is, whether it be by school family or about, oh gosh, what other stuff? Either emotions, all of that stuff. That's the whole point of morning circle, is to bring the class together. Did she ever do it? No. And she would be such a bitch because the teacher aide that she had, she's actually my teacher aide this school year. And she is amazing. I love her. But she took full advantage of my teacher aide this school year to where whenever the teacher would be out and the teacher aide took over, if she didn't do something that you're supposed to do for the pre-K classroom, then for some reason she would report it to my admin and to try to get her in trouble. But then my admin would at least talk to my teacher aide. Sorry if it's confusing because I'm not saying names. But my admin would talk to the teacher aide, get her side of the story, in which my admin already know how the teacher is. Again, this is where it's like I question my principal's decision making, because why on earth did you hire this teacher? Because she's awful. She's terrible. But yeah, so here she is as a teacher not doing what she's supposed to be doing. But if her teacher aide isn't doing what she's supposed to be doing, then she reports her. It don't make sense. Especially, it's like, this is where I get amazed by people's thinking processes. Where I don't know if they think that, at least, especially at our school setting, the work environment, where we are teachers who teach the students like these social and emotional skills to pick up on certain social cues and all that. So it's ironic coming from a teacher where they are unaware that we can quickly figure out of whether you are bullshitting or not, of whether you are just incompetent at your job. And yeah, and that's where, oh goodness, it really makes me just think about those type of people. And with this teacher, she had her whole friend group here. Like, they had, it was pretty much a clique. It was pretty much high school. Like, this whole friend group treated the workplace like it was a high school. Because, oh goodness, if you set one of them off, you set the whole clique off. So if something were to happen to this teacher, she would report it to one of her friends, and then one of her friends would try to get all confrontational to whoever was talking mess or whatnot. Or even, oh goodness, I'm being told I'm not doing my job. Hey friend, can you help me out? Can you confront them for me? How dare they tell me I'm not doing my job when it's true? And okay, disclaimer, I'm not saying that mental health is bad or anything. Like, yeah, mental health is super important. Please take care of your mental health. For this teacher, I truly believe that they were taking advantage of the mental health excuse. Because, like, even for the smallest things, where communication, for me, communication is so important, especially in the workplace, to where if you are needing, like, a little bit of time before entering the school because you are feeling stressed, then you should communicate that with your team. Like, especially your team lead. Like, we understand if you need a moment. Like, because I had to take my moments whenever I had to go from pre-K to third grade the next school year. But I communicated that. And that's the thing. It's like, we are a team. We are willing to help each other out. But if you are going to be so against us, then we can't help you. And that's what it felt like with this teacher. Like, she was so heavily reliant on her friend group and not the rest of her grade level team. Like, you work with us. Like, and right now, like, the current team I'm working with, like, we're all understanding. Like, if you just communicate that you need some time, let us know. Instead of being told by, like, a friend from the friend group, like, hey, they need a minute. Just, please, just do whatever you can with her class. It's like, Now, I understand as well. So this is where, let's say if she really, really, like, couldn't communicate that with us, like, at the time, because of how stressed she was, okay, I do get it. But then whenever things, settled down and whatnot, then just clarifying the situation at a later point. But that also never happened either. So it was just, it's like she really made it like, it's either her clique and that's it. Like, no one else. Even though, like, you're part of a grade level team. And I would also say this, pretty hard-headed. It's like, it gets so set in her mindset that whatever she's doing is right, even if she's not doing her job as she should. Just fully set that whatever she's doing is the right way. It's that way or the highway. So the times whenever she would get in trouble by my principal, then the tear works would come out, and then she has to leave early for the day because of mental health, which again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Please take care of it. But given the context, especially again, if you're not doing your job, especially if it's like an important one, then and yeah, it's a job. It's a workplace. Like, we have things we gotta do as a teacher. If you don't do it, then yes, you'll get in trouble. It's like, I hate to say it like that, but it's true. But yes. Yeah. And hold on, I made more notes. Let me see. Mayhaps that she did stress too much, because at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on in her personal life. And this is where I am probably sounding harsh. But it's just like, given the context of everything, into where it goes to my next talking point. To where it makes me just like, I just don't understand her as a person. Because of her friend group being there, she would kind of walk out of her own classroom for a long amount of time just to go hang out with her friend group, thus leaving her teacher aide all by herself. I'm not saying that as teachers we can't do that if we have to, let's say, go make copies, print something, or if we have to go talk to a parent or have a meeting. Like, all of that doesn't count. She would just walk out and be gone for a long time without even telling her teacher aide where she's going, thus leaving her teacher aide alone, in which she's not supposed to. It's actually in the contract that unless there is another adult in the classroom, that teacher aides are not supposed to be left alone with the students. The only exception would be rest time, because by then, students are put to rest. They go to sleep, take their nap. But yeah, she would just keep walking out to where my teacher, who was the team lead at the time, and another teacher on the pre-K team, kept reporting it to admin, to where admin started documenting her actions, her behavior. And I think one time, one of the admin team went to her classroom and just sat in there and timed how long she was gone. And then whenever she came back, like, all the admin it's like the admin had to play it. Like, they couldn't be like full on confrontational in the moment. So the admin just like asked her, is like, "Hey, everything okay?" And the teacher was like thrown off by seeing her. Is like, yeah, everything's okay." And my admin just walked out. But isn't that ridiculous though? The fact that you have to get an admin to sit in your classroom to time to see how long you are gone from your own classroom. And this just goes back to professionalism. And where it's like, this is a school. We are not a daycare. And I say this about parents too, where parents think whenever they have their child get sent to pre-K, it's a school. This is a school setting. We are not a daycare. You may think we're a daycare just because it's pre-K, but no, we have to do our own thing too. We have to teach. We have a set curriculum. We have a schedule that we need to abide by. So yes, we are a school. We're not a daycare. We're not here to just let Billy eat his snack all day. We're not here to help Billy change his clothes every time he needs to. We are at school. Yes, most parents probably do view us as a daycare. But then I feel like, at least from what I've experienced, sorry. Oh gosh, I thought I was about to burp. Very good. No Star-LaLa burp today. But then, at least with me, I make it very clear, especially with my communication at the very beginning of the year. Like, I set, like, day one. Like, sending a message. Well, in this case, for this school year, I had to send an email. But pretty much, like, letting all my parents know my rules and expectations. Whatever district has sent us, I send that to parents. And I'm gonna be honest, I use an AI tool to help formulate my message and make it sound more professional and everything. But pretty much it's like, yeah, I am talking in this professional way for you to already get into this, in the tone that I'm not a daycare. Like, that's not me. That's not me at all. I'm not a daycare. I'm just not. And I think by doing that, like, my parents already, like, the ones that I already called, like, first day of school, they're on top of it. And now I'm knocking on wood, because I haven't talked to every single parent, but I think I have talked to at least 90% of my parents. And so far, all of them, like, even if I'm saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, little Johnny was not listening to me at recess today. They just wanted to keep stepping on this bug, even though I told them not to. But from there, I say it in a way that's professional. And I told it's like, what parents really like is if you mention your child's safety. It's for your child's safety. That's why I instructed them not to do what they did, because what if they got hurt? So I kind of played it like that too. And then that's where the parents would just respond, oh my goodness, thank you, Miss Star-LaLa. Thank you so much. We will talk to little Johnny once they get home. So I believe also the way you communicate with parents also play a huge role for them to truly understand that we are not a daycare. So if teachers don't do that part of communication with parents, then yeah, they're gonna see it as a daycare. But I think I did a pretty good job, because so far, again, knocking on wood, my parents have been reasonable. There's like nothing too crazy yet. As like, I am grateful, again, knocking on wood, of my parents. Talking to parents as they just bigger kids. Yeah, especially whenever I used to work at the charter school. Oh boy. That's, yeah, I won't get into too much detail about it. But yeah, parents at charter schools are so much different than parents at ISD schools. At least the ones that I've talked to. I will say, well, this is for the next school year, in which I think at this point, let's just move on. I can't believe it's already what, been 2 hours, 21 minutes? And I'm finally hitting the recent school year. So you know what? Or actually, well, I say recent. This is the 24-25 school year. Let's get a move on with that. But I will say I had some parents where they were kind of on the mess side during my third grade. But yeah, whenever I was teaching third grade. But again, not nearly as bad as parents at charter schools. Oh, goodness. Those were the days. Never want to talk to those type of parents again. But again, it's the mindset thing. Parents who are at ISD schools, like the one that I'm at, they're already aware that, like, yeah, I'm not paying for anything. Especially because, at least at my school, lunch is free. So it's like, yeah, they're not paying for anything. So they can't complain about money, at least. Like, needing to pay money for the school. Like, your child is receiving a free education. But then charter school parents, again, they think it's a private school, so they just so entitled. But yes, I will say again, my parents' this school year, amazing. Alright, but yes, let's go ahead and finally talk about this past school year, the 24-25 school year. The big change, another big change. So I started off the school year in pre-K because I took my teacher's position whenever she retired. And thank goodness for her. It's like after that school year that we had together, it was a wild ride, even though I was only there for like half the year. But yes, so she retired, and she pretty much left me all of her pre-K stuff, which was a lot of stuff. But yes, it was like passing on the torch, and that's where I was like, yes, I will carry on your legacy. And so I started off the school year pre-K, but now here comes the big issue. There was not enough students to justify the number of teachers we had. Because let me do a count. There was this class, this class, this class, this class, this class. So I think there were 6 of us. And that's including like the bilingual classroom. So yeah. So 6 classrooms were a little bit too much for this school year. So I only was in pre-K for about a month until the big decision had to be made, where I had to leave pre-K. My classroom got dissolved. I cried so much. And I remember mentioning this last stream past stream, sorry, where I was told a Friday after school, and I was told by my team lead that Friday after school meetings are not good. Because she's been at the school for 20 plus years, so whenever she told me, yeah, this is not going to be a good meeting, I didn't think it was going to be that kind of news. Oh boy. And then like the biggest reason why I cried was because I felt like it just wasn't fair. I felt like it wasn't right that it had to be me, because the other teacher, who was the daycare teacher with the whole clique and all that even though, again, already beginning of the year, still doing the same things from the previous school year, she was asked to return just because, again, first year teacher, so they have to give them at least an opportunity to redeem themselves. But already beginning of the year, they were doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like even for our testing that we do for pre-K, like I started day 1. If I'm told I only have 5 days to do it, I'm gonna get started day 1. Please tell me why she did not get started until day 4. Hello? And she had to pretty much like other instructional coaches, other people had to come help her finish her testing, because she didn't start testing until day 4. So that means she only had day 4 and day 5 to finish all her testing. And now here she is stressing out like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I have enough time to finish all my testing. Hello? And then here she is asking me, Miss Star-LaLa, how were you able to finish all your testing? You can't be serious. So if you really had doubts before about her work ethic, this should tell you. This should tell you. Should it not? Like, there's a reason why we have our teacher aides. And our team lead gave us the warning pretty much the week before, like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Your teacher aide is the one taking over. Like, they're just, let them do what they gotta do to survive without you as you focus on testing. And so it's like, okay, yeah. And so my teacher aide, they knew what to do. They got the job done. They did what they had to do. It's really that simple. Like, you have to leave the classroom. Like, if it's testing, that had to be done within the week, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Even if I heard crying and screaming in my classroom, that was not my problem. Sorry to my teacher aide, but it's like, that's not my problem. I am focused on, okay, to be on the for real side, if anything serious did happen, yes, then I would intervene. But I promise nothing serious happened. But it's like, yeah, I'm doing what I gotta do. Like, you just gotta do it. Leave the classroom to test if you gotta. Like, I just don't understand what the reason was to wait until day 4 to complete your testing. So, despite all the amazing work I did in that first month of school in pre-K, unfortunately, I had to do the move because the third grade reading teacher, let's just say they did something very, very bad. They have been doing stuff they shouldn't have. Speaking of unprofessionalism, very unprofessional, and he's been teaching for a while, but he wanted to talk about stuff that he shouldn't at school. He talked to parents in a certain way that you shouldn't talk to a parent. But apparently the kicker, the nail in the coffin for him was he decided to send a message to parents. And it was a very long message, pretty much like venting his feelings to them. Like the only context I was ever given of what he said was that as parents, you should be doing your job to teach your child blah 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 blah. Like, you're not doing your job as a parent if you're not doing blah 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 blah. And then he sent this without letting his partner teacher know. And his partner teacher was the team lead for 3rd grade. So he did not let her know that he sent that message. So whenever my principal found out, imagine her reaction. So from there, it was a domino effect. Once my principal found out, then she reached out to the team lead of 3rd grade because she was his partner teacher. And once the team lead found out, then she was like, what the fuck? And so, yeah. And then, because of that, of course, most of the parents hated him ever since. And that caused issues there. And so he made the decision to resign. He was like, you know what? I'm so done. And apparently he talked to my principal in a very unprofessional way whenever resigning. And again, I'm amazed by my principal because even during those moments, she could keep her cool and talk in an eloquent way. But yes, so because of that 3rd grade teacher leaving, they needed that position to be filled. There was the possibility of just not filling in the position and there just be 3 3rd grade teachers instead of 4. Sorry about my nose. But the issue with that is 3rd grade is the start of state testing. So if they were to narrow it down from 4 to 3, then that would have to they would have to do a lot of changes to the schedule, which just would be too much work. So they found an opportunity to move me up to 3rd grade because I'm certified and they know I do my job well. At least I believe I do. And that's what my principal said. whenever I was very upset about the move from pre-K to third grade, that I should view it as a huge, huge compliment, a huge, huge honor, because she wouldn't do that type of move if she knew I couldn't do it. Because she knows that I do such a great job, or pretty much do my job, that I was going to do it. Now, was I truly happy with it? No. I will say yes, I got adapted to it. I adjusted to third grade, and I did like most of my students. But it's just like, yeah, no. It just wasn't what my heart was for. Because if you remember, I said my preferred grade levels was pre-K to second. I never wanted to touch third grade and higher. And it was because of state testing, in which I will say this, it got interesting throughout the school year, needing to hop around here and there during testing time. Like whenever it was third grade's time to do their test, then I would have to sub in the fifth grade classroom, in which, oh boy, fifth graders are pretty much bigger pre-K students. They are just so dramatic, like even more dramatic than the pre-K students I had at the beginning of the year. Like one was losing her marbles because, oh no, you brought your little backpack to recess and you forgot it. Oh goodness, oh no, you left your phone in that little bag. So yes, that means you left your phone outside at recess. Whose fault is that? You wonder what on for and above? Maybe, may you be more specific, Lucky, in what you mean? Or like how it is to teach like fourth grade and above? Because if you mean that, whenever I moved up to third grade and I had the team lead as my partner teacher, in which the one who I call Doctor, so whenever Doctor, she has taught like fourth, fifth, middle school, high school. Like she said for the elementary levels that whenever she taught fourth grade, that fourth grade is the hardest year. And yeah, she say that fifth grade is not as hard as fourth grade. Because in fourth grade, I guess there is such a big gap, a big jump from what they learned in third grade math to fourth grade math. So if they really don't have like all the skills necessary to help them prepare for fourth grade math, it's gonna be a struggle. I mean, same with reading too, because then yes, I became the third grade reading teacher, and out of all the subjects, reading has always been my worst subject. So here I am teaching a subject that I was bad at, but I made it work. I did it. I am proud to say I survived the school year. Claps. I really thought I wasn't gonna make it through. I was this close to resigning. But I was really self-aware that would have been a big risk. A big risk if I did resign, because unlike charter school, at the point whenever the transition happened, it would have been too late to resign without getting my license revoked. And yeah, I was like, I really had to think about it. Like I thought about it for like I think 3 weeks, where I talked to my pre-K teacher who was the team lead, and I talked to my partner teacher who's the team lead, and I talked to my fiance a lot about it, because we had to think about our financial situation. If I were to resign, then I would not be bringing in as much money. I mean, I don't know if I were to find like a better paying job, but at the time I couldn't think of it. I couldn't think of any other job that would pay as much as it does now as me being a teacher. So it was a big decision that I was this close to resigning just because of how much I hated it at the beginning. I was really so against the idea, but guess what? I showed up to school every day still, even if I cried. Like, there was the one time where I did cry in front of the students just because of how upset I was over how everything went down. But that's where I communicated with my partner teacher. I even told admin, just expressing how I need a moment. Like, I really need to step out of this classroom. Like, I just can't right now. And they were kind enough to give me that break. Even and the rest of my team, my grade level team too. The students are actually very nice. Like, whenever, or at least this group of students. I know, like, maybe once you hit high school, like, they don't care. But at least the elementary level, that even if they're like the meanest student, like, if they see their teacher being honest and emotional, that they actually care and are nice. So yes, all of my students were very kind about it. Like, they gave me a big hug after I came back, and like, I was honest with them. Cause most of them knew me because, oh, a little bit of off tangent, getting off track. But for some reason, my principal decided to put 2 pre-K classrooms in the 3rd grade hallway. So I think that was a little foreshadowing, or a little prediction of what was to come. So yeah, my classroom was my pre-K classroom was already in the 3rd grade hallway. So yeah, the 3rd grade students already knew my face, like, they knew who I was, but they saw pre-K teacher me. So once I started in 3rd grade teaching, then I had to, like, change up my teaching style, because I couldn't do my pre-K teacher mode, and I had to create a 3rd grade teacher mode. So I was not I didn't have to, like, talk to them like they were, like, little kids. Not to say that they're not still, but they're not like 4 to 5 year olds. They're like 8 to 9 year olds, which is a big gap. So that's why it's like a huge adjustment, and needing to I had to learn their curriculum. Like, it was my first time teaching the curriculum, so it's like, yeah, like, sorry, because I'm thinking so many thoughts right now. I'm trying to, like, generate what I want to say, because oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because if you remembered, I got told that I was going to move to 3rd grade on a Friday after school. Then there was a holiday Monday, and then I had the Tuesday to set up the classroom, and my principal wanted me to get started on that Wednesday. So that was less than a week, not even 2 days of trying to set up and prepare to teach in 3rd grade. So I had to cry to my principal pretty much, telling her, hey, please, I just need that whole week. Just give me those 4 days. 4 days to set up, 4 days to at least get an idea of what I'm going to teach before you put me in the classroom. In which, because I think my principal was just happy that I didn't say I was going to resign. So she did give me that extra time to set up. Thank goodness. Or I would have really just resigned. Maybe. I don't know. But see, look. Communication. Look what communication gets you. And whenever you do your job. Are you taking notes, daycare teacher? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Okay, moving on. So yeah. I went to 3rd grade. And then, yeah, I did, whenever I did get some new students here and there, let's just say they were a little bit on the rougher side. But I won't go into too much detail for their privacy. And they're not the focus either. But yeah, other than that, like, my party teacher, amazing. Like, I really feel like she's my mentor in life. the doctor because she got her doctorate. She's been teaching for 30 plus years in different grade levels. So it's like she's like an education guru. She just knew everything. So it's like, yeah, I would just always go to her for everything. And it's like, it is just so amazing just talking to her. Again, it's like, I'm just so envious of those people who just know how to say the right things in such like an eloquent professional way. Because like, here I am even streaming, like I'm just starting over my words, I'm slurring my words and all that. But whenever like the doctor would talk, it's just like, oh my gosh, amazing. And it's like, yeah, as like I feel like we built a pretty good friendship despite our age gap, because I think she's in her like either late 40s, early 50s, while I just hit 30. But it's like, it really feels like we are like just buddy like that. Oh, for sure, they were probably like me. Like, I think she started teaching in art, and then she moved to the classroom. And I believe I also said this at another stream where she never got to choose which grade level she wanted to go to. She was always told, hey, you're going here. Okay. Hey, you're going here. Okay. Hey, you're going here. Okay. And then, like, at this current school, she got told by the previous principal to move grade levels twice. Started in 3rd grade, then went to 5th, then went back to 3rd. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I love Doctor. Doctor's amazing. If you ever see the stream, Doctor, just know I really do appreciate all you did for me. Like, I learned so much. And then it's so funny whenever I like overhear like some drama or whatnot, I would always tell her, and then she would be like, shut up. It's like, we could just talk for hours. It's like, they're just so amazing. I really do love them. Oh gosh, but we're getting away from the drama. Let me look at my notes. Ah, okay. Oh, actually, let me hydrate. Oh my goodness. It's almost gonna be the 3-hour mark. Will I actually stream for 3 hours this time? Oh, whoops, I keep hitting my mic. I wonder if you can hear the mic sound. Alright, so also this school year, nepotism. Dun dun dun. Nepotism at its finest. So I talked about this the last stream. So, there's an admin who has been there for many years, and I guess they wanted to hire their daughter-in-law. So their daughter-in-law is engaged to the admin's son, and so yeah, hiring her, they made a position for her, and I think I said she is like below 20 years old, but old enough to have a job. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they do have a lovely personality. if we were to talk outside of a school setting, but in a school setting, the immaturity really shows. Now, I'm not saying they don't do their job. They do the best at their job, but it's whenever it's interacting with students, and this is the biggest advice, or one of the biggest advice I could give to any first year new teachers, is you have to draw the line. There is a fine line to create with students, setting that boundary to where, yes, you want to have a positive, good relationship with them, but you don't want to be their best friend. The moment they view you as a friend, then it's just game over. And then that's also not saying you can't go to like any outside events to support your student, but it's just once they view you as their friend, their best friend, then it's just, yeah, they, especially if you're the classroom teacher, then you just lost the point. And that's where it's like with this person, so the one under 20 years old, that she would get a little bit too friendly with students. But then it's like she's young, she's cute, so of course the students are more drawn to her. She talks about stuff that us classroom teachers can talk about with the students. Thus, they create that kind of relationship. But then it gets to the point where the students view her just as like a fellow student, just because she's that young looking. So whenever she tries to tell them to do something, they don't listen, because you are treating them as if they are your friend instead of as the adult. And then with this same person, because I can't even call them a teacher because they're not a teacher, I'll just call them person A. So with person A, whenever they would talk to this one specific student, who is the most disrespectful student I have ever met. And I met my fair share of disrespectful students. But this student truly, truly believes that they really run this school. Because I just don't know. I don't know if they are getting consequences from the teachers, if they're even writing them up or anything. The amount of things, I don't know. I just don't know how many things they have done. It's like, I would need like 20 sets of fingers to like list off everything that they should not be doing. They see you as an equal when you should be as a mentor. Yes, I highly agree. And that was the issue. But yes, with this disrespectful student, that's how I'm gonna label them. Because like even my principal had to like tell that to the student. You must really think you run this school. You do not, sir. You don't. Like, it's that bad. But I just don't know why they're... I mean, I get it, public free education, so we can't just kick out whichever students, unlike private schools. But it's like there has to be a fine line in which, with how much he has gotten away with stuff, like it just sets also a bad precedent for the other students. Like, oh, well, if they're allowed to get away with XYZ, then I should be able to too as well, yeah? So with this disrespectful student, of course, they got a big crush on a person A. Again, young and cute. And person A just allows it. They just allow the interactions they have with disrespectful student. They developed whatever bond, whatever that they have established. But it's pretty evident. Like, you just know when a student has a crush. In this case, the student has a crush on an adult. But that's no. That's a big, big, big no. Like, I understand from a student perspective if you do find a teacher pretty, cute, and like even my pre-K students, they say that I'm cute and beautiful, and I tell them, oh, thank you, and just move on. I mean, especially for pre-K littles, they just say whatever. They're honest. So I'm not saying that students can't say that about an adult, but it's like if they're saying it because they have a crush or they have romantic feelings for you, yeah, no, you gotta cut that off, in which I don't think person A did a good job at all. And oh gosh, I'm already thinking about other stuff about this situation, because like some big things that stood out of what happened last school year was how person A, a disrespectful student, were left alone multiple times in the classroom, even after being told by my principal that disrespectful students should never be left alone with person A. Not ever. Apparently, apparently, disrespectful student is supposed to be escorted by another student at all times. Viewers are kind of like students in that way. Yes, yes. But yeah, so disrespectful students always supposed to be escorted by another student. Is that always the case? No. And because disrespectful student doesn't care. I'm gonna say it. They don't give a fuck. They don't. They could give less shits in the world. Again, they really feel like they can just do whatever they want because they know that there's not going to be a huge consequence. And that's where I feel like admin team is not doing a good job on their part. But yeah, so disrespectful student in person A, alone, talk about who knows what, but here's disrespectful student giving the hard eyes. And apparently there was a point where disrespectful student was touching person A's hair, like stroking it, and person A just allowed it. You are letting a child touch your hair in that way. No. No, ma'am. Like this is kind of going back to the creepy guy, but reverse. Because now it's a creepy student doing that to an adult. But this is where, like, the only reason I can think of why person A would allow it is just because she enjoys the attention. She's liking the attention that she's getting from this student, and this is where I myself have felt it too, to where, I have developed this special bond with this student. So unlike other adults and teachers where they tried to develop a bond with this student but it didn't work out, but it's working out with me. So yeah, I want to be that person in their life. But again, maturity, this is where the immaturity part comes in, to where they did not draw that line. They did it to where it's creepy. It's weird. I'm sorry to say it, but it's weird. Like, why would you allow a student ever do that to you? And then apparently the disrespectful student also said something like, surprise, surprise, disrespectful in a sexual way about her, to where my principal was like, oh yeah, he is definitely not allowed to see you alone anymore. But guess what? It still happened. And this is where person A, just because they are the daughter-in-law of one of the admin, that they think they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Like, they act as if they have been working at this school for like 20 plus years. No. Like, I hate to say this, girly, but you need to sit the fuck down. Like, don't act as if you're the one running the show when you're not even a classroom teacher. Like, whatever your job position is, yes, you can do it because you're not a classroom teacher. So don't act as if that, oh yes, I talked to like all the students who are causing issues in their classrooms. I developed that bond with them. Because you have the time. You can do that. You don't have to worry about being observed by your admin team. You don't have to worry about 17 other students or 20 plus other students in the class. Like, the responsibilities are definitely not the same. So yes, you have that time. Now again, I'm not saying as a classroom teacher you can't find that time. But especially from 3rd to 5th grade, since it's a state testing, since they are state testing grade levels, the responsibilities are more more important. They get more serious. So it's just not the same. And that's where, again, the immaturity part comes in, and I don't think Person A realizes that. And if they're not careful this school year with that disrespectful student, then it could lead to legal issues. Like, I recently saw a video where, if you know Stephanie Sue, she does like podcasts, and she did a video on her Rotten Mango podcast where a teacher got arrested for doing sexual stuff with a student. Now, yes, that was on the teacher for initiating it, but those type of stories exist, whether it be the teacher who initiates it or the student initiating it. Like, you just gotta be careful, because, like, that happens for some reason, like, even in these recent years, to where you just have to be careful. Because one wrong thing that a student claims that you did, you may be out of a job the next day. Like, what if disrespectful student stops liking Person A? Then what? Alright, moving on from Person A. Because I do want to wrap up stream soon. I'm sorry. It is getting pretty late. And I gotta still do other stuff. So, I bet those teachers never 50 plus years old. Yeah. I agree. But yes, moving on. The pre-K teacher who is a certified continues to not do their fucking job. Oh yeah, I'm reading that quote by quote of what I typed. So yes. So, as I move to 3rd grade, I hear from my bestie who is still on the pre-K team that, yeah, nothing changes with the daycare teacher. Still doesn't do their job. Doesn't do what you're supposed to do. Any activities that the whole team would want to do, just because of her and another friend that was also on the pre-K team. So yeah, the clique, like 2 of the clique were in the pre-K team. So because of those 2, that they couldn't do some activities because it just wouldn't be fair. Because then there were siblings who were put into different classrooms. So if they hear from one sibling, my teacher had us do this today, but then they hear from the daycare teacher's classroom that, oh, we didn't do that activity, then that would cause an issue with parents. It's like, how come this teacher did this activity but not the other one? Now, granted, we're not all going to do the same thing all the time, but if it's something that's supposed to be for the whole grade level, but the other teacher just refuses to do it, then it just would cause issues that I'm pretty sure my pre-K team lead didn't want to deal with. But karma comes around. Karma comes around, because I don't know what on earth the daycare teacher has been doing for the past 2 years, because they were given an extra year to get their certification completed, so to get their hours completed, the courses, and then take the teacher tests. Did they ever do it? No. They failed to get certified. And I think my principal was waiting for this moment. Like, I don't know why she decided to rehire her again, but I guess she thought that the daycare teacher would change, but no, never did. And so she broke the news to the daycare teacher after the daycare teacher was gone for like a week. But she came back on that Friday. So my principal broke the news to her, going like, hey, you're not getting asked back for next school year. You will be leaving my campus after the end of the school year. So karma does come back around for those who don't do their job, who refuse to collaborate with their team, those who just think that their classroom is a literal daycare instead of a pre-K classroom. Because this is another sad thing too. Like even the year that I was just a teacher aide and then I became a pre-K teacher, that the students never really viewed her as the teacher. If anything, they would view the teacher aide as the teacher. And that's the sad part, because of how often she would leave her own classroom. And so the teacher aide would have to take care of the class, but because of that, they're the ones who earned the teachers, or they're the ones that have earned the students' trust instead of the actual teacher, which is very sad. But again, that goes to show and reflect how they were as the quote-unquote classroom teacher. All right. And oh yeah, and I already talked about this talking point. I did mention about the doctor being my life savior. The reason why I was able to survive the 3rd grade year, because without her, I don't know what would have happened. But I will say this. I am very grateful for the experience. It was a very meaningful experience because I did learn a lot, especially from the doctor, but also got to meet the other teachers on 3rd grade team too as well. Now, the male teacher on the team, he gives no fucks. He does not care. He's pretty much like the student, the disrespectful student pretty much. But of course, as an adult and much more mature and everything, it's just, he does know what he's doing. He knows what he is teaching. So if you try to tell him to do something and he knows it's stupid or not gonna work, he's just not gonna do it. Like at least with my partner teacher, the doctor, she'll still do it even if she thinks it's stupid. But with the male teacher, he doesn't give a fuck. Like he is dead set on his ways. But it works out because he always gets good test results. Yes, right people said by God when they need it. Yes, yes. And honestly, considering of what happened, or what I've been told happened in pre-K last year, I think it was a blessing in disguise. It was like, it was fate that has decided to move me from pre-K to 3rd grade. Cause yeah, I really did learn a lot, and now that I think about it, like the group. Like once I actually got started teaching my routines and procedures, my expectations in the 3rd grade classroom, and the students saw that I was putting in the effort to teach them. Like I got started day 1. Yes, I was very sad and upset over the change, but once I got into that classroom, like I didn't just do like, oh, we're just gonna get to know each other for like the next hour and a half and whatnot. Like I just got started teaching because I was already put in a bad place, that the students were already behind like 3 weeks because they were without a reading teacher for 3 weeks. So I was already behind. Like I was at a huge disadvantage. So I had to play catch up. So I just jumped straight into it after the 4 days I was given to set up the classroom and prepare what I had to do. But yeah, I did it. And you know what? I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. Like I done did it. And then, like I said, after thinking about the group of students that I had, like even from my classroom, my homeroom, and my partner teacher's classroom, that it worked out. They were a good group of kids. It's just the typical 8 to 9 year old stuff and student drama stuff. He called me ugly. Okay, let me deal with this. He looked at me funny. Okay, let me deal with this. It was pretty much pre-K, but in like older version. Like of them being grown up once they get to 3rd grade. Now, I will say some of the student drama got like so serious to where one student told another student, "Your mom is dead," even though it was not true at all. But then because of that one comment, it then set off a chain reaction, thus making it a bigger drama. And then me and my partner teacher had to deal with it. I pretty much used my pre-K skills to help mediate the situation, to get the truth out of both students that were involved. To where, like, I mostly got the student to admit that, well, if you hadn't said what you said to the other student, that your mom is dead, then he wouldn't have said what he said, correct? They thought about it. Yeah. I guess. Better than no. I'll take that over a no. But yeah. That was the previous school year. Yeah. We did it. Even though I really had to do a very redacted version of it, because I can't drop names and whatnot, because I'm not trying to get in trouble here. And I'm really trying to be careful of not even revealing, like, even the state that I teach in. Now, if you really know all the rules and stuff of what I'm talking about, you could figure it out. But I'm trying to be very careful. I'm trying to keep my job here. Yes, those I can understand. Kids learning socializing. Yes, like, that doesn't change even in 3rd grade, as I learned. Oh, goodness. Billy, how come you punched Bobby in the stomach? Because I got upset. Okay, but is that how we deal with our feelings, emotions? No. Because of that, I have to reach out to your mom. No, don't do that. Well, maybe you should not punch Billy in the stomach. But again, I made it through. Ah. But yes, with that being said, oh gosh, I'm really trying to contemplate. Do I really want to attempt trying to seek clarity? Let me flip a coin. I'm too lazy to change my son to show the coin. Or do I gotta? Let me see. Oh, I think I do. Yeah, I would have to if I want to do it. You just have to trust my word. You just gotta trust my word whenever I go flip the coin. Alright, random.org. Okay, I'ma choose the New Jersey corner. Alright, heads, I will give an attempt to see clarity in celebration for the VTuber Matsuri concert that is coming up that I will be participating in. Or tails, I don't, to save my voice. It is tails! Thank goodness. We will save that for another stream, even if it's past the concert. But yes, right here, I will go ahead and wrap it up. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that I streamed today. But it is because this week was a much better week. It's like because of me actually getting started with my teaching and turning on my teacher mode for real, and communicating with parents and just repeating my routines and procedures that this week was a much, much better week. Not like the first week of school. And we'll see how next week goes because my pre-K students will be doing their testing. So yeah. Yay, thank you, Lucky. And thank you so much for sticking around, even though it's like really late your time now. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And thank you to anyone else who may be lurking too. If you happen to be watching the VOD and you do watch pretty much up to this point, I thank you as well. So yes, at least next stream, yes, we'll be doing the one question a day stream. Ah, thank you, Sumerasaki. Thank you. You were still here. Thank you also for sticking around. I greatly appreciate it. But yes, with that being said, I will go ahead and end stream. Next stream will be next Friday, probably same time, 5:30 p.m. CDT. You never left? You are a pro lurker. I never do. And you're learning a lot about overseas stuff. Yes. And I'm really surprised that you discovered me, Lucky. And despite our time difference, and here you are sticking around even though it's really late. I greatly appreciate you. To all my fans. We really have to do a 100 plus sub celebration stream, but I want to make it a karaoke one and whenever my voice feels better. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. But yes, next stream will be the one question a day, my 5-year journal stream. So very excited for that. So yes, with that, I will head off. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.